Do you ever get excited for weekly reset anymore? It's 2026 and every Tuesday Destiny still resets, but nothing changes. And that's becoming a bigger problem for Destiny and where it's currently at in its life cycle. Will it ever change? Now, when we think of Destiny's weekly reset, I need to cast my mind back to one of the earliest memories of excitement around Destiny. And it wasn't actually when I was playing the game. It was reset day. And here in the UK, reset usually hits around 5 or 6 PM, depending on daylight savings. And all day Tuesday, I'll be at work, thinking about logging off, heading home, and finding out what's changed in the world of Destiny. Back then, I wasn't fully tuned into the forums, Reddit, or YouTube, so reset day came with genuine, real surprises. You didn't know what was coming, and I just loaded up the tower and browsed the menus just to discover everything. A few months after launch, I even convinced a couple of people at work and some friends from school to download this new and amazing game called Destiny. So it wasn't just me getting hyped for the week ahead, I managed to do it to everyone around me at that time. And there's actually a funny story that still sticks with me. There was this guy in my team, we'll call him XOC. And we just came back from lunch and he was a keen artist. So he started sketching out this whole plan for reset night and what we were going to do, and he had loads of landscapes on this page, notes on what the nightfall might be, and the order of what activities we'll be running that week. Proper gaming nerd stuff, all scribbled across this page. Anyway, XOC finishes talking to me next to my desk after lunch, and he leaves the page behind. Unfortunately, it was just left a little too close to one of my colleagues sitting next to me. A couple of days later, we get an email from a client, very confused, and attached to that email was a scan of XOC's Destiny master plan, sketches, notes, the whole works. And it was with all the relevant documents that they received anyway. And that's when we realised what just happened. And honestly, that kind of excitement, that kind of shared hype between two friends just doesn't exist around the weekly reset anymore. And since then, two things have happened. Firstly, the easy answer. Time has passed, and a lot of magic has faded within the world of Destiny. The sense of discovery is weak within the game, or it is because of my genuine online presence. It's just way too strong. And secondly, the people I talk about Destiny with now is mostly this community and strangers online. And that change matters more than we probably realise. Originally, the weekly reset felt mysterious and exciting, well, especially to me. And we don't discover the reset anymore, we all just check it out, Twitter, Discord, patch notes. You know everything before you've even loaded into the tower. 2026, and today the reset means vendors just refresh, some activities rotate, and more often than not another bug has appeared within Destiny. It trains our population to only log in once or twice a week, because we burn through all content efficiently, and we just log out. Do you remember the old pinnacle grind? Back when we only had a handful of activities drop that precious 1+ power that was needed, and reaching max level actually took time and a lot of luck. I watched countless players log in on reset day, steamroll through every one of those activities on all 3 characters in one sitting. And once they were done, the same question always came up. What can I do next? And the answer usually was not a lot. You can log on to some raids, some dungeons, you can do your PvP endgame, you can do certain parts of the direct grind. You can go in and try and get triumphs and stuff, but there wasn't generally much to do because we were all chasing numbers. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't hate the checklist feeling, and I've mentioned this in a couple of my videos previously. I have got the completionist mindset, even though I don't have all the triumphs. I like finishing things at the most part. And once the list is done, I go looking for a different challenge. I also know my relationship with Destiny is probably different with a lot of other players. I'm a bit more niche than the average type. There are times I load into activities not looking for a god roll, not looking for a cosmetic, or even progression. I play because I love and enjoy the game. I enjoy the movement, the gunplay. I just enjoy killing things in the world of Destiny. And modern gaming has slowly lost that. Too many franchises, too many metrics, are too focused on engagement. Games never ask now, are you having fun? Especially online games. They ask, How long did you stay? And did you buy this skin in the shop? And way too often, games just turn into funnels designed to push numbers up on a graph. And I've said that plenty of times before. And instead of experience designed to be enjoyed, Destiny, like the others, unfortunately, isn't immune to that shift. But let's be fair here. The weekly reset does serve a purpose. A live service game needs structure. It helps pacing, it creates clear windows for ongoing maintenance, and in theory it's meant to prevent burnout. If you like cramming all your checklist items into the first couple of days, the reset gives you permission to step away, to play something else, to not live and breathe a single game and every day of the week, which to most players is a refreshing feeling when you've taken a break and come back after weeks, months, or years. Which honestly, if you play one game 24/7, it's generally not healthy. But predictability is the trade-off. When everything happens on a schedule, nothing surprises you. So what happens if we start planting a few surprises midweek? And I've said this, memory is the most powerful loot chase there is. What creates strong memories? Surprises. Moments you were not expecting. Moments that caught you off guard. And at least for me, I know I am not alone. Those are the things that stick. Think about your favourite games of all time. Think back to your very first playthrough. What made them special? It wasn't some random checklist or efficiency. It was all the surprise, the mystery, the discovery within that game. That's why massive RPGs and open world games that lean heavily into those ideas are still held in such high regard year after it was originally released. Games off the top of my head like Skyrim, both Red Dead Redemptions and Elden Ring, personal favourites of mine. They trusted the player to explore, to discover, and to be surprised. And that's something Destiny slowly moved away from. Yes, I am comparing apples and oranges with massive single player games to our MMO-like Destiny. But think back to moments where Destiny did surprise us. When Final Shape dropped Prismatic, just unexpectedly within a trailer, it wasn't something that many people expected. Or think back to the Whisper mission and it suddenly popping up within that Friday and everyone was clamming together to figure out actually how to trigger it effectively to actually get into that mission. Those moments mattered. But there are two big problems standing in the way of that kind of surprise right now. Problem one, it's the clear and obvious one. Destiny's age is over a decade. And at this point, there's very little room left for genuine surprise unless Bungie is willing to tear up the script. Not just narratively, completely structurally. And the only shocks left are extreme ones. A sudden Destiny 3 reveal. Playing as the Fallen or a Cabal Guardian. Or somehow Marathon secretly being Destiny 3 with a PvE only mod. Anything smaller than that gets spotted a mile away. And problem number two, and this is the big one for online services. Data miners have become a plague on the surprise in online games. Not because they're malicious, but because they turn the mystery into nothingness and a weekly checklist before players ever get to experience it themselves. And within hours, all of that is online, and what should have been a shared moment of discovery becomes a Reddit thread titled, "Here's everything coming next week." Surprise doesn't die in the game anymore. It dies on Reddit. This creates a vicious cycle. Developers stop hiding things because they know they can be found. Players stop being surprised because they expect everything to leak. And the community slowly shifts from exploration to expectation. For me, that's not excitement. It's pre-consumption. And that is a big thing in this day and age. We are seeing it now with Destiny 2's end of life cycle. More and more players are doing minimal each week. They either log on themselves, just search through the Eververse store, watch a content creator search through Eververse store for them, or they read about the Eververse store online. And in an online service game like Destiny, where mystery used to be the part of the magic, data mining doesn't just spoil the content, it strips it away, moment or the momentum sometimes. Especially how Bungie functioned the online community of content creators to begin with, to be that online Bible for this game, when it really should have been found in-house. And that is no criticism of any content creator. It's just more Bungie passing the buck. And once the moment is gone, no amount of polish can bring that surprise back. So let's summarise it. and what the weekly reset actually means to Destiny. It means nothing escalates organically, nothing can spiral out of control, and nothing really tends to bleed into next week. And that's why I think Destiny is playing way too safe. Bungie are playing it way too safe with this game now. But is that the reason because they're moving on to other projects and they want that 3 to be that massive surprise? Or is it because we just have a skeleton crew on this game now? This next point we don't really tend to see right now with how it's structured, but we've seen it before. Impending doom, threats being temporary. The universe is about to end in Destiny. The villain is moments away from victory, but we have to wait until next week to find out what happens. Why does it take a god, a hero, a universe-ending enemy 7 days to complete a simple action? Why does the world politely pause and just say, it's not Tuesday yet? And because of that pause, our victories feel hollow. You beat the threat, you save the system, and then 2 days later it's like none of it ever happened. Everybody just forgets. The world resets. Momentum dies. A good version of this was the Dreaming City. They purposely built in that 3-day cycle. And that was positive and that was story driven. That's how you can build both worlds together. It's creative. But we never really saw that much again. So, how can we make the weekly reset any better? The biggest one is you need to stagger the world. Not everything should reset at once. Some activities should roll midweek. Some systems should escalate over time. And this applies especially to the story. And that's why I mentioned it. Imagine if the seasonal narratives didn't play out neatly in weekly chunks. Instead of you logging in on Tuesday, finishing everything within an hour and wait 7 days, you get 7 clear story beats. 1 beat per day. And the story moves on whilst you're playing. Not waiting, not pausing, you're progressing. And if you miss a day, that's fine, because a living world doesn't stop and wait for you personally to be ready. So let me leave you with this. Would you like Destiny to stay predictable and safe, or would you accept a messier, less controlled version of the game that actually moved without you? Because you may not be able to have both. And that choice might have to define Destiny more than any expansion could ever do. And that's the conversation, and that's the point. So please like, subscribe, enjoy your morning, your afternoon, and your evening, and I'll talk to you next time.